In 2019, when he was leader of the Brexit Party, Nigel Farage did concede that agriculture, farming, is the sacrificial lamb of Brexit. And it's extraordinary that people in the southwest seem to welcome this and even believe that they couldn't wait to get on and do Brexit.
In the short term, there's no question that agriculture would find it very tough. No question at all. But remember,
very tough means people losing their jobs.
How many people are here? So we want to get out of the EU? Is that enough? What more can one say?
We're absolutely fed up with the situation, what's going on now.
We need something done in this country. It's gone to pot.
There's nobody in power at the moment who's going to sort us out. We need a new party, and this is it.
We want a proper Brexit. That is what the people voted for. They didn't vote half leave, they voted leave.
In the short term, there's no question that agriculture would find it very tough. No question at all. But remember,
very tough means people losing their jobs.
Very tough, or people find new markets. Things move. This is dynamic because also we'll have access to other markets around the world. In the short term, there will be winners and losers. There always are with whatever you do. We'll have 39 billion to help those who are short-term inconvenienced. Long-term, economically, I think it's the right thing from everyone.
I don't believe that Nigel Farage was ever a British patriot. As you can see here in this next clip, he was pushing for Donald Trump, and he's still pushing for Donald Trump today in his latest bid for the White House. Nigel Farage is in love with America, and particularly the Republican Party led by Trump. This, for Britain, is bad news, but for our food and food security, it's particularly bad news. The American trade deal, thankfully, isn't on the horizon as matters stand, but we know that Nigel Farage's priority is to get the American trade deal. The American trade deal means decimation of British food. We're already in a lot of difficulty with the Brexit trade deals, but an American trade deal would be absolute curtains for British food.
Actually, what we're hearing is the true nature of the European project, which is genuine anti-Americanism. Trump is motivated by protecting the United States of America from Islamic terrorism, whereas what has happened in this room and in governments around Europe is you have welcomed these people into your own homes. Let us invite President Trump to come here to this European Parliament. I'm sure as Democrats you'd all agree that what we need to do is to have an open dialogue with the newly elected, most powerful man in the world. And if you throw that rejection back in my face, then you prove yourself to be the anti-democratic zealots that I always thought you were. And out of institutional respect, President, to the truth, perhaps you will understand and agree with me that within the European form of lawmaking, it is the If I'm wrong in saying that, you can throw me out of this Parliament right here, right now, this afternoon.
Nigel Farage is only interested in Nigel Farage. He is very good at communicating and tapping into people's grievances and scapegoating others, dividing people to try and keep his popularity going. But in truth, all that he assures us is chaos.
Harold, is the ball.
So the impact on farming from Brexit is it's multi-layered, and it depends which industry, which farming you do. But the biggest problem was initially the non-tariff barriers and the loss of freedom of movement, which meant that particular farms that need a lot of labour to pick fruit and vegetables, and chicken farms, for instance, have lost that easy to get fluid labour supply. So then the trade deals, you know, these disastrous trade deals, which we already had access to Australia and New Zealand. We had full access to their markets. All we've done is open up Britain to them, and they are huge countries. They farm in a very different way to us with lower standards, and it just means that they can, you know, send quantities over here, which can undercut us, put us out of business, and then once we're out of business, that's it.
Around to the JCB, which is in here.
This winter, greenhouses are not going to run. A lot of chicken sheds are not going to run because they can't afford the energy costs. And so that means more food will have to be imported. They haven't done anything to support the food system here. And one has to ask why. Coming out of Europe and then ending our food production here at the same time is the most irresponsible thing a government can do, in my view. And we'll see where we end up, but I think we're going to see some real problems with food. We already have 11,000 people were hospitalised with malnutrition last year. It's just unthinkable in a wealthy country like Britain.
Our growth levels are half what they were in the last 2 or 3 decades. Our productivity levels are now lower. The growth rate is now lower than it was at any time, academics tell me, since the Industrial Revolution. Investment in this country is far lower as a percentage of national income than almost all our major competitors. The regional economic inequalities in our country are now so serious that they demand urgent action. And of course, as a result of that, standards of living for people in this country are continuing to fall. There has got to be a turnaround strategy. We cannot govern in the way we have been doing if we are going to make this a decade when we can see an economic recovery in our fortunes. We need to think with almost military precision about how we can put our economy on a war footing so that we are in a position to solve the problems that I've just identified.
In my view, Gordon Brown was one of this country's most successful chancellors, and I think he was a very good Prime Minister who saw us through a very difficult time. Nigel Farage, on the other hand, I will give him credit for building up his populist movement and getting people to believe in Brexit. But as we are now learning, Brexit was not good for Britain, and it'll continue to be bad for Britain until we find an exit from Brexit.
But come in. No one's suggested throwing them out, have they? No, but if they're still not allowed to come in, we are going to end up with a shortage. As it currently stands, for example, for trade, for produce, for animal-related products, the minute we leave the EU, we are going to have a 300% shortfall in vets. And this is not me scaremongering, it's a fact. And I think that both sides need to be a bit more respectful and a bit more factual.
Well, I knew we weren't. I knew, Daniela, we weren't producing enough nurses and doctors. I had no idea we weren't producing enough vets.
No, but that's the point. That's what I mean. If that had been shouted from the rooftops, then you may have accused us of scaremongering. Whereas I'm respectfully telling you that Daniela, there is a problem.
If I'm a buyer, right? If I want to buy someone's services and I pay money for it, if I want to buy someone's product and I pay money for it, I can do that regardless whether we're members of the European Union or not.
So the problem you have with that argument is that say we're organising a trade deal, I don't know, with some Asian country, and that Asian country stipulates that before an animal product leaves this country, it needs veterinary certification. Okay. There's not much we can do about that. And as it currently stands, we don't have enough vets to certify for export. But that's not primarily why I rang in. I rang in to point out that this is not scaremongering. It's probably the wrong language being used, but it is true.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, Daniela?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, just animal welfare. One thing we could do is we could stop the export of live animals, couldn't we?
Yes, we could, but that was not your argument. Your argument was we could produce cheaper food.
No, we could import cheap. No. We could have cheaper food. What I'm saying is we could buy food from Africa. We could buy food from all over the world without the current tariff that is put on. We could have cheaper food, but I accept your point. It could be the lowering of standards in terms of what we buy in the shops, and it could be bad news for British farmers. You know, but Daniela, thank you. You've made your points. But I still, you know, if we need vets, then we'll get vets to come and work in Britain and pay them to do so. I don't think we need the European Union to do these things. You're listening to the Sunday edition of Nigel Farage.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also comment below. Let me know what you think.